Alright guys, so I believe it's back up once again. Having a small problem with my personal internet, as this is essentially just being worked out of my home right now. However, may have fixed it. If it reappears once again though, the downtime may end up being longer, as I may have to try something different. I've tried a temporary fix for the time being, so there's a chance it might happen again, and if it does, I do apologize. I should reiterate, this is completely my fault, not the fault of anybody else. This is just my home personal connection at this point, so if it does end up happening again, I do apologize, but there's not a whole lot I can do to control it if it does end up happening, as that would be my ISP sort of crapping out on me. There's something I can try, though, to fix it if it does reappear, but for the time being, fingers crossed, looks like it'll be okay. But we shall see, of course, because both times it did kind of just drop out on me. But I might have known what it was, so we'll make sure it's fixed. Anyway, things are tied up here now, 3-3. And obviously, again, we did miss a couple rounds, so we'll sort of give you the perspective on what ended up happening there. Last round coming down to a very close one, but E-Frag managed to swift through. Round number 4, because I think we missed parts of that one too. Pretty easy one for ORGLESS to finish up. So they take that one pretty swiftly. Now this one is a strike back for ORGLESS again, so that remains as tied. We're here at 3-3. Now we'll go into what I believe actually is technically our first gun round. spyleadeR, of course, down on a pistol, does kind of kill that a little bit, but we can already see here ORGLESS going for some aggression over here towards middle. Both Viktor along with spyleadeR here to try and resist that, but spyleadeR having taken a bit of damage already. The smoke's fading out though. Barcode's going to get an opportunity to pick up a kill. Some damage was traded back over onto Flash to bring him down to 11 HP, but unfortunately the smoke from Viktor not doing what it needs to do to allow him to get himself out for the sandbag, so it's still going to leave him isolated there. And DeadFox will be able to shut things down. Dreamer finding another kill here too, catching out Barcode as he gets a little bit over-aggressive inside of the Bence there, and that's going to be his death, but thankfully the rest of the push from ORGLESS is coming out onto the A side, and right now from E-Frag, there's not a whole lot there to try and defend that. NKL's going to be the only player here. He picks up one, though, looking for more. He's going to catch an additional one there as he finds another shot. Collat shot, I should mention there, too, to go through, but oh, no, that Molly's going to end up pluming out a little bit more. And they will end up catching him, so that's going to be a kill towards these guys. ORGLESS still held back pretty heavily, though, when you consider their movement at this point. And now Dreamer's been given an opportunity to flank. He moves in, he's going to shut down DeadFox. Ney essentially just looking for the plan at most at this point as he moves in. I don't even think he's fully realized that Dreamer worked in from behind him, but at the very least, he moves in. He's going to catch this kill over here on the bubble to take him down. And now it's a party, a one-on-one. Dreamer's going to have to try and work his way back into here. As he works his way in, he's going to look for that opportunity. He goes right for the duel, and a very swift end to the 1-versus-1, but it does end up panning out for the members of E-Frag there once again. Very, very close, but they win it out. It'll be a full 10-second defuse for Dreamer, but still with plenty of time left because of how quickly that ended up going. E-Frag will once again claim the 4th point for themselves. ORGLESS will fall behind after just picking up another round, resetting their money once again here. Still looking pretty okay, to be honest there. I'm just looking at the totals. We'll see post-round. And yeah, they should have plenty enough for about. Even for those that don't have it, we can obviously just see another drop coming out towards those guys with a couple players sitting at 6 and 7K. And we can see the hesitance to buy from those two, just in case anybody did need drops. But the interesting story is, finally, again, I don't think we even saw one on the entire map of Inferno, but finally now we have an op in play, and that's going to be over here on DeadFox. And he's working with, but this is what was interesting to me from ORGLESS too, because if I remember correctly, we saw DeadFox actually doing a pretty good job with this when he played up against Gamers 2 the other day, but now it just was completely absent on Inferno for some reason. The CT side obviously pretty explainable by the fact that the economy may have never been in a solid of enough spot to buy it with how quickly rounds are being traded back and forth, but the T side, there's plenty of spots for it to pop up, but it just never did. Now we're going to see it though, and this is going to be very interesting to see how this pans out for the ORGLESS players. And there's going to be Viktor moving his way out, though, getting aggressive, shuts down Barcode right from the get-go. And now the rest of ORGLESS very, very slowly trying to make progress on this one. The timer ticking down still with a decent amount of time, but a little bit too slowly there, unfortunately, as Dreamer is going to get a very quick opportunity to shut down Ney once again. They find that kill. Dreamer's going to move himself away. He picks up the kill over here on a DeadFox and finds another one under the Farmer, too, so ORGLESS kind of trying to waltz their way onto that site, but the timing on it is just not well at all. They move in and the smoke fades out, so they're going to find themselves overexposed to Dreamer, and nobody's able to respond to him. He's just sitting wide out in the open, too, so it was actually pretty miraculous that he managed to survive that encounter with as much health as he did. But now we're going to look at E-Frag as well. They're going to pick up the op off of DeadFox, and I guess they're figuring since, hey, we got one, we might as well try to use it here, and that's going to go into the hands of Bubble for the first op over here on the side of E-Frag, too, so it'll be a first for both of our sides at this point. Now for the members of ORGLESS again with a broken economy, they're just going to waltz they're just going to go back on down over here onto a Tech 9 buy. No armor behind it either, so Dreamer's going to get aggressive off of the hands of this. Picks up a kill in Ney already. And Ney not going to connect too much damage, but as the op walks in, Bubble actually missing the shot, connects it over here onto the second one, and now is War going to end up walking in. Dreamer still holding onto the site there. He picks up an additional kill. Then Viktor and Dreamer once again finish off the final two. E-Frag close it out nice and swiftly. ORGLESS, not a whole lot else they could have done that time, unfortunately, just the Tech 9s in play. Could have played it a little bit more passively in hopes of some extra aggression that was coming out there from the members. Apologies, from the members of ORGLESS, but they don't end up catching it. And for E-Frag, it's a pretty quick closeout for those guys now. And ORGLESS back over here onto the AK buys. So a full buyout from these guys. No op, unfortunately, coming in once again. The money really doesn't allow it at this point in time, as it would have been a glass cannon buy, and we've already seen from the last map that they don't really want the op to begin with, and I imagine that this DeadFox is getting shut down with it here on the first time they do buy it. That might discourage them from going forward in the future here. But a fairly passive position being taken up here by E-Frag. The only sort of aggressively placed player would have been Viktor there behind sandbags, and even that's sort of not really an aggressive spot to work for, but unfortunately he overexposes himself to DeadFox and two of the other players there from ORGLESS, so that's going to be an easy kill for them to pick up. They won't actually progress onwards for the time being, though, to get any more control of middle. They will put one there, potentially, but not really moving towards it, and unfortunately this allows E-Frag to just move in to close out a lot of these players. Bubble and NKL finding 2 kills. Barcode did pick up at least 1 response, but that still leaves things in an even trade because of the fact that obviously E-Frag lost one of their players a little bit earlier on, with Viktor kind of being stuck behind sandbags. That's the second or third time that's happened now so far in this half, so sandbags definitely being a little bit of a problematic point here for the E-Frag players to work towards, as they have a whole lot of trouble evacuating it. spyleadeR, good training on the aim too, is a little bit off the angle, but corrects his aim in order to take down Flash there as he tries to work his way inside of Z to potentially open up a 2-way push into the B site. That will not be happening, so they hold themselves out for the time being. The bigger problem that I might end up being worried about, though, is if spyleadeR still kind of being the only player to resist the Z push here, if that exactly that happens, if DeadFox walks in and kills him. Now they're going to rely on one player, but Bubbles pops out, finds the op shot over here on DeadFox. Barcode's going to drop down and be able to take him down directly after that, but now there's only 7 seconds left, and Dreamer should be able to walk in here. They're going to have to look for the 1 versus 1 duel. Barcode going for the plant. The nade's going to come in. Going to actually not do all that much damage here. Pop flush coming out as well, not connecting all that much, and Dreamer so far maintaining this 1v1 very nicely, and he's going to end up winning it there too. Gets the headshot over onto Barcode to take him down, survives it with 12 HP, recovers the op for his teammates, and now they win yet another round. Now really starting to get themselves into a good spot, almost looking exactly like we had in the previous map there too. And just looking, again, just looking specifically here at just how heavily E-Frag are leading by this one, it's actually amazing just how top heavy their current fraggers are here too. Looking specifically at Dreamer, he's currently the top leader for this team, and by a big margin, by 10 frags to the next player there too, sitting at 17 kills. All of that action that's been going on at the B site, he's been pretty much catching almost every single bit of it. It has had to be the player to defend it. It has done so time and time again, so big props to him for holding things off and for making E-Frag's defense so successful. And I'm going to be honest there too, although I did say it was a bit top heavy, it's not like it's sort of a bad way top heavy. It's just more the fact that ORGLESS has been pushing B so much, and Dreamer has just been consistently holding things out there. There's been a couple weak spots, but for the most part, they just left him to defend it on his own, and this is a perfect example of this one. So he's actually just been getting all the kills he's deserved. Now Viktor wants a little bit more of it though, and he's going to be able to push in and find 2 for himself. NKL also getting some of it too as he picks up a kill, but DeadFox moves in, corrects 2 more, and there's spyleadeR just gets himself up on top of the toxic barrels there, finishes out the final 2. ORGLESS just not really well aware of what the situation is as far as that push is concerned. And that will be a very easy closeout here for the members of E-Frag once again. Although they do lose a couple more of their players, so, you know, not necessarily looking at too strong of a money build-up now, but still very strong hold here, and a very, you know, they'll be able to maintain enough to now get, for the most part, another rebuy heading into finally a lost round if ORGLESS do pick up an additional one. But even ORGLESS here, I mean, there's going to be a problematic here is that they need to get a little bit more plant going on. They've only seen one maybe every 2 or 3 rounds here that they're able to actually specifically plant, or not just, you know, outright get themselves into a site. But without those plants coming in, unfortunately, one of the bigger problems that's going to be as we head into some of these later rounds in the half is that, yeah, they are able to rebuy their rifles for the most part at the end of every round. They're not really going to be able to, for the most part, afford a whole lot of utility and whatnot. And we can already see an example of that right here. Not really, obviously, again, some of it's been used, but for the most part here, only looking at 2 smokes left alive to make a take, and they're very split up too, so they're going to be relying on individual entry frags. This could get troublesome, especially now that Viktor comes out, but oof, Viktor, not the best position for him to take. As he moves out, doesn't catch anything, and then both the peaks come out from the members of ORGLESS, and they catch him completely off guard. So there's going to be a free kill by the way of ORGLESS to open things up. The sentry prowess does start themselves off strong, but very little progress being made towards actually taking a site at this point. Now spyleadeR as well. He's going to pick up an additional kill. They're finding more, and they're trying to just rush their way into this B site, but again, it's been hindered so much. And Bubble with that op is just going to close up the final 2 kills as well for E-Frag. So, we haven't seen that op being worked too much, but now that it's been in the hands of Bubble, it's, you know, we haven't seen a whole lot of it, but when he's tasked with pressure, he seems to be able to perform pretty well, or at least adequately enough to hold it off and let his teammates come in and do the final job that is needed to close things out for him and his team. So again, the big problem here for ORGLESS as well, in addition to some of the things that we talked about with him not being able to get a plant consistently enough, and obviously some of the other problems that I talked about in the past, is now over here on this T side, which is looking like their better side. It seems that overall the strat doesn't really seem to be that well solidified either. It took so long for anything to evolve this time. Now they're just going to go right for it. But at least in the last round, they came out sort of 1 by 1, and you know, there wasn't any team effort to take risks there. They wouldn't be willing to sacrifice too much. So a lot of the time, they would just have one player walking in, he would die. The next player would walk in, he would die, and whatnot. And this is an example of it. We have a good solidified push on the site itself, but back over here by Forklift and whatnot. Unfortunately, they're losing too many assets, and it's the same story here right now too. Barcode's gonna pop out. Ney just sits safely behind cover, and now he's the final player in a 1-on-3, so he can't do anything to resist that. E-Frag are just gonna be able to walk right in here and stop him. And now again, that'll be a 10th point going out here for E-Frag, leading by a very big margin. ORGLESS still. They'll go into another buy here off of that Tech 9 round, I am going to assume, and yep, that should be the case as we head into this 14th round, but still now, not a whole lot of resistance, and you've let the E-Frag members stack up so much money that even if we do see them picking this one up, obviously they'll be able to rebuy going into the next round anyway, so you're going to have to come out in a very, very big way to pick up these final 2 to bring it up to 10-5. 10-5. For this map, I mean, 3 or 4 months ago, even 5 or 6 months ago, to be honest, I probably would have said that was a good scoreline for this, but it's gotten very, very even to this point, and you sort of expect 8-7 and 9-6, so this is already going to be a miraculous half for E-Frag regardless, and off of the hinges of this first kill, looking to build it up even more. Viktor holding the tight spot there just outside of the mid-garage. Going to be able to find an additional kill over here on the flash as well, and now the rest of the team trying to work their way over here into the B site, but they're ready for this one. They've positioned 2 players up on the platform. Dreamer waiting for a push to come out from Team A, and Bubble as well, watching the checkers push. They've got it volleyed out, and they are going to try to counter boost now. They'll walk right into Viktor's face, and they find him at least, but now Bubble with the op finds 1 kill. Looking for a second, he's going to miss that opportunity, but Barcode, now with the response onto him, they do have another opportunity alive and well, and E-Frag is a little bit out of position this time, so some good shots from ORGLESS and some big mistakes from E-Frag, getting a little bit too aggressive for their own good. Now going to find out that they may not be invincible here in this round just as of yet, and they'll keep NKL positioned just over here by the truck just in case, but for spyleadeR, they need to move him down here as all that pressure's coming in. There was that counter boost, but it didn't end up following through. So for these final 2 on ORGLESS, they're going to stick here, wasting a whole lot of time at this point as well. Sitting with just 30 seconds left on the clock there. 64 HP sitting on the Barcode and DeadFox. A little bit lower, they're down to 86 as well. They'll fall back. Dreamer waiting for his opportunity to get this as he just hides behind the headshot glitch. And already there you can see too. And it's just going to be Dreamer to finish it off. There's another star performance from him. Still mainly that solo player. And I know the stars aren't really accurate for the most part there, but we can just see too, just as a counter to how much he's been doing well and holding off these B pushes, looking at like 7 MVP medals there from him compared to everybody else on the team. So again, another big performance to finish things off as he picks up those 2 kills. A nice assist, of course, coming in from spyleadeR as well, as he had moved himself into that position to help out. He sprays down and pretty much finishes off one of those players. He gets the intel, more importantly, out. And that, too, again, is just going to solidify yet another one. We head into the 15th, and there's spyleadeR. Again, one of the big fraggers for E-Frag, picking up an additional kill onto the farmer. Takes him out of the play. The rest of ORGLESS are going to try to work their way into the vents, but they've already seen it. And there's spyleadeR picking up one. Finally, he's traded out by DeadFox, but with this intel coming in, Bubble can push himself back a little bit. It's a very interesting position being taken up, and as they push out of checkers, it's a bit unfortunate there, as Bubble's going to be able to finish it up. But there's Dreamer again. 2 more kills. He's going to pick one up there. Settling it down. Now he's going to find the final one as well. Dreamer shutting down Ney. E-Frag come out on top, and a huge 12-3 scoreline picked up by those guys. ORGLESS not looking so good, to be completely honest with you. Looking very unorganized in that one. Just trying to do these very, very default strategies. Not a whole lot of innovation coming into play with it. Not really a whole lot of avoiding middle a lot of the time there too, or at least avoiding a lot of highway play for the most part there when you take a look at that half. There was almost, you know, maybe 1 or 2 rounds at most out of a total of 15 where they actually tried to utilize a mid push in the highway. They took mid control a lot, but they almost always used it to get in events, and this became very predictable and very easy for the E-Frag members to try and counter out. They almost never played it up towards highway and almost never went for an A take at all, to be honest. They did it a couple times at the beginning of the half, but ever since things didn't really start off too well for them, they just switched to B pushes, and that's obviously what gave Dreamer so many damn frags, is he was just given so many opportunities to shut them down, and he just performed every single time. And we can see that by the scoreline. 26 kills with only 2 deaths on Dreamer at this point. His KD average is absolutely insane, man. I'm actually curious what's his ADR right now. I don't know if the, let me find him. Where is he? There we are. 147 ADR. That may not be right, but 7 3Ks as well in the first half. I imagine that's probably pretty accurate, to be completely honest with you. So here we go from E-Frag once again. If they pick up this pistol, this should be a fairly simplistic closeout for them. Dreamer's gonna walk in, almost picking up another kill. There we go. He's gonna be able to finish off Flash. He's driven a wedge too, and oh my goodness, how is he not dead right now? DeadFox brings it down to 10 HP, but the 180-degree shot for Dreamer, he finishes him off. Barcode, though, this is another story in the making too. Back over here, sitting on the B side. He's gonna pick up 3 kills, looking for a 4th potentially as he flanks around, but an attempt here from spyleadeR to get in his face. No! Barcode holds on the B side. I don't know what's going on with these B site holders, but we might have another one in the making here in terms of Barcode. He just sits on there, absolutely invincible on top of that site platform. Finishes off 4 of the players from E-Frag and completely shuts down the otherwise great take that was coming out there to start off that round. So ORGLESS, they're not out of this one just yet. They're going to be able to get a buy, but E-Frag won't take that one without going down as well, as they're going to go right in for a Tech 9 buy-up. The only exception to that would be NKL, goes for the Tech 9 but no armor behind it is what I meant to say. And he does have a little bit of utility because he's chosen that one. Bubble picks up the armor along with the Molly, and as for everybody else on E-Frag, it's Tech 9 armor. A little bit more utility on the spyleadeR as he picked up some kills, but Dreamer just sits back, as does Viktor on the usual buy. And here they go, they're going to go right for it. They're going to go right into the face here at this point of the Farmer, not catching him yet, so he picks up one, but a good smoke setup does prevent him from finding anything else here. And now the Farmer, he's going to work it in, can't find anything else. NKL and Viktor get the responses, but ORGLESS are holding for the time being, and now we can see them working their way back in. They're picking up 2 additional kills. It's all going to be on NKL. A little bit slow on that plan, unfortunately, so he's not going to be able to sneak through with this one. And Barcode moves in to pick up the final frag. ORGLESS again come out on top, pick up the 5th round. Pretty clean, too, losing about 2 of their players there, and with no plan happening, unfortunately, E-Frag, they won't be able to call that a very good round for themselves. They're just going to have to suffice with what they picked up there, and they'll go for a second attempt at it here, too, because they don't get a plant, so they might as well do it. This is going to limit their utility to some degree when they go into the buy round over here on the 4th, but still, this could be interesting in terms of its consequences, because the take looked good from the get-go, but some cheeky positioning from ORGLESS did prevent them from doing it. So I'm imagining with this split push now, if they do end up favoring it over here towards the B side, and if they can catch out some of the positions earlier, then they may be able to counter this one out and actually make the entry. But already some damage being connected here. spyleadeR tries to go for a peek just outside of Squeaky there and ends up getting punished for this one. But smoke comes out from the CT, so it actually gives him some room to maneuver. Dreamer is also going to wait for an opportunity to press his way through middle, but there's going to be spyleadeR. He finds the opening opportunity, and now he jumps down here too. 2 players in the vicinity of Z, which is a pretty big emphasis now, but also we're seeing the play coming in there. Bubble with a nice headshot there off the Tech 9, finds an M4 too. Now they're into the B site, and we're seeing actually too, they're being really taken for a run as they commit the bomb to it, but now they boost it back up to go towards middle. They catch on to this one though, and now 2 CTs are going to pick up 2 more kills. For the rest of E-Frag here, they're going to try to work this take. They're in the A site. They still have to get the bomb up their highway though, as it's working its way up there now, and Ney's going to be able to resist that. Thankfully, these pistol shots coming out there, he's going to hold him back for now, and Bubble walking in, he picks up the headshot to finish off Ney, so now they bring this into a 2-on-2, and with about 30 seconds left on the clock, we're going to see this plant coming out. Bubble's heavily injured, and he's going to have to fall back and pretty much hide behind quad, and KL with no upgrade either, so still a heavy advantage here to ORGLESS just in terms of what they have to offer. No utility from E-Frag, unfortunately, too, so this is going to be a very hard hold to make, but nonetheless, ORGLESS will go for it. They have a pretty big advantage. Waltzing in, haven't been able to catch them yet. I'm sure they're going to go for Bubbles first, but he walks up the other way, doesn't catch it, brings down DeadFox at 10 HP, and now NKL here is going to pop out. They spot him on the left side, though, so now he's a dead man, but they're wasting a lot of time with this. Thankfully, they traded out, though, and DeadFox should be given enough time in order to defuse that bomb, so very good strategy from E-Frag. Had it have worked. I like what we saw there in terms of taking the risk and committing the bomb over here towards the B site, putting it over here inside of Squeaky, and then taking out a CT while he was inside of it too. So at that point, he's panicking, he's calling, guys, the bomb's over here, the bomb's over here. But in reality, it's actually getting boosted back up over here to work its way up highway. Just a bit unfortunately, apologies for the lack of vernacular there, that the farmer, or whoever was positioned back over here by truck, ends up catching that a little bit earlier on. And they kind of figure out the plan right from the get-go. So it's a good strategy, and had they have had a little bit more mystique or illusion to it, I imagine it would have worked out flawlessly and pulled a full rotate. But thankfully, it's a little bit more extra aggression there from ORGLESS has allowed them to catch it, and it kind of screws the poodle in terms of that plan. So with ORGLESS getting themselves, to some degree, back into this matchup, still a little bit of a ways to go, as they're still about halfway behind the round score of E-Frag at this point. We will see E-Frag getting themselves into another buy round here, or their first buy round, I should say. But as I talked about before, too, it's going to be pretty severely limited just due to the fact that when we take a look at what they're bringing into this one, you can see the AKs in play, but spyleadeR unfortunately has been forced to save, and Viktor's down to a Galil too, and in terms of utility, they don't have all that much. It's going to be a lot of mollies getting tossed out here in hopes of finding real locations. They force the farmer out, but drop the 19 HP. Ney here too trades out a little bit. There's Dreamer now catching the first one for his team. And a good position here from Ney, along with that molly, he's going to be able to catch out one of them, but the big flank comes out from Bubble over here on Highway. He's going to be able to catch two, and now he's just walking up. He finds a third. Flash is going to try to position himself out the counter this one, but they see him there, and oh my goodness, what a huge mistake on the defense from ORGLESS. Again, a little bit too, obviously a little bit different this time around, but it's a little bit too aggressive just in terms of the retake there. They leave nobody to sit back and watch their flank on Highway, and Bubble just walks up and basically kills everybody from that position as they were all overexposed. They were all sitting out in a way that would have left them open for the taking, essentially, from ORGLESS, and they can't stop that. So that should have easily been a 7th point for ORGLESS, but they strike back now, and E-Frag off of a broken sort of half rifle round there, they get themselves back into this match, and now they have a good lead here. And for ORGLESS, no economy was built up for themselves either. They're only going to have to do one save, but it still was at a point where they really wouldn't have been able to competently buy. So now this is going to be 14 points, and ORGLESS will really only have one more attempt to try and stop this win out from happening here on the side of E-Frag. There's NKL finding another great shot too through the door, finishes him off. I should mention that too. We did miss it, unfortunately, due to the auto director not being too good, but he catches him through the door, gets to the headshot from Squeaky, and that's going to shut down another member here from ORGLESS now. And on E-Frag's side, man, NKL, they're just walking into him. So that's a great round for NKL to finish off pretty much everybody on ORGLESS' side. Granted from an eco, but still. 3K for him, and now we go into the pause from ORGLESS. Unfortunately, I feel that this is happening a little bit too late, just in terms of when you look at what they have to offer. Even though I said it was probably going to be one save, to be honest, 2 saves, if they had the round score, or at least if they had a little bit more time / rounds to try and do this, then they might have been able to come back. But actually, no, I apologize. This is a pause from E-Frag, correct? Wait, ORGLESS wants to pause. And now, okay. So ORGLESS did call the pause, that's my bad, but apparently E-Frag want to keep it for a little bit extra here. So for ORGLESS, obviously, as I said before, I think this pause is coming out a little bit too late because they're going to be able to buy, and for a couple of their players it'll look good, specifically on a Flash and Ney. The big problem is that for DeadFox, Farmer, and Barcode, it's not going to look so good. They'll get rifles, but in terms of utility buy-ups, you're not going to have too much. So you're looking at, if one of these players isn't ending up shifting himself towards middle, you're looking at most really like one good buy-up with utility and everything that are trying to resist a push. Beyond that, you're maybe going to have one smoke, a couple flashes, or an HE grenade maybe there in the mix, or maybe one molly if you really want to favor that. But for the most part here, they won't have all that much to resist E-Frag, especially in a sort of later game scenario here with you only having one smoke maybe on the site there. So you'll get the initial smoke out, and that'll stop them from just straight up rushing you, but after that has gone away, E-Frag pretty much have any ability to just walk their way into the site there and try to take back anything they need, so it's got to all be on the aim coming out here from the members of ORGLESS, and we take a look at the kill spreads coming out here. Unfortunately, there hasn't been all that much. It's been the top fraggers top fragging, but everybody else that normally has had trouble, still having trouble here. The Farmer, who was actually doing a really good job on the previous map, hasn't really been coming out too well this time, with only 8 frags on the board at this point, and most of the kills have been coming out from the favor of Barcode, sitting at just 17. Even now, as we switch sides here too, we did see a pretty high earner in terms of the kills, and it's still the case with Dreamer now sitting at 30 frags, only picking up a couple extra, of course, in this half so far, but more of these players are starting to get themselves into the mix. Specifically, Bubble and NKL have done a good job of now bringing up their score totals, and they're even sitting at 17 to 15 frags now too, which again, when you compare it to 30, isn't all that much, but looking at what it was at the end of that first half, still is not bad now to get that many more kills and to work their way back into this. So we're still waiting for a pause, for an unpause, apologies, to come out here from the members of E-Frag at this point. I'm not 100% sure. To be honest, I think someone may have just gone to the bathroom, and it looks like that's the case, because now everybody's back, and we're going live once again. So here we go with what could be possibly the final round here coming out from the members of ORGLESS, or probably the final impactful round, I should say, coming out from the members of ORGLESS at this point. E-Frag, they pick this one up. They'll force ORGLESS onto another 4-spot economy round, and as for E-Frag, if they pick this one up too, their economy is going to be solidified for a very, very long time. So a big one in play here, and we'll see what they can do to try and stop it, and it's going to be a little bit of aggression. This is what killed them last time, though, so a big risk being taken. It's got to play out. Dreamer finds the opener. Ney gets a response, and they spot the push initially coming out here. DeadFox also failing another one there, too, to take down NKL, so this aggression may have finally just worked out a little bit here, where it was so detrimental on that previous map. Now hover back over here. They're going to try to make an entry onto the B site. Not going to happen there either, and now they can push out in that regard here. Barcode gets the smoke. And for the final two here on the side of E-Frag, they're going to try to find their way through this and catch off the members of ORGLESS, but ORGLESS is in such a good position. One's out in the open, though, so they're going to be able to take him down, and both of the others have rotated back off here now that we're previously on that B site. Flash gets smoked off. He can't do anything to stop this. Some shots come through. spyleadeR is able to find a way through this one anyway, and now he brings it down to 32 HP off of a good day. Tossed him through heaven there, but nonetheless, the plant comes out, now working this 2-on-3 hold at this point. You can see here, too, that Viktor's hitting himself just underneath of the platform. Very exposed position, but also a little bit unexpected for some players. So they may be able to catch him out. The molly's going to come through here, too, to get some damage in, but as you see another molly coming out, that shouldn't end up hitting over there towards spyleadeR, so he should be safe, but big risk taken. He jumps up. That should not have been done. Now they're going to fall down. He also gets killed there by Flash, too. So ORGLESS takes a risk, and it plays out on that aggression inside of A main. They pick up a kill there. They're traded out, but they find another one from Squeaky, and from that point forward, shutting things down, they keep themselves alive for the time being. And Ney here, thankfully, a little bit closer than a fuse, but is going to be able to sneak through with it. And ORGLESS maintain. They keep themselves in this game. But again, back to the same point we were at before, where they're 7-14, and they still have, you know, to double their score here before they can even tie the game, let alone win it. So E-Frag armed up again here once more. Obviously, again, with that good spread of money, it's only going to be really enough to maintain through this round. We may end up seeing an eco coming up after this one. They also should have enough potentiality to, at the very least, go for a Tech 9 armor force up, or even go for a couple players with AKs, and then maybe just add Galils into the mix here, too, if they really want to try to end it swiftly. Because, again, another big key here, too, is the fact that ORGLESS, yes, they went out this round, but their economy is not established as of yet. So one of these pickups from E-Frag will very much so essentially still mean that they force ORGLESS onto an eco round, essentially, for the next round. And they'll have a couple extra things, so it'll be like a 4-spot eco, but still enough that obviously E-Frag would be able to waltz over and just finish off the game at the hands of it. So now E-Frag, a very dangerous component here is that E-Frag has been given free control of middle. They even leave behind one of these players to try and hold this, but DeadFox and the Farmer with a good hold there. And the Farmer picking up, oh my god, the Farmer, 1, 2, 3 kills for him. spyleadeR thankfully finding another one back over here towards middle. But now you've got the Farmer. So far, just farming kills over here on the A site. That smoke, I think, was a little bit too far back. But we're still going to be able to see spyleadeR creep through. It doesn't catch the Farmer on the right side, but I don't think he caught it either. And now spyleadeR's going to try to creep up onto this one, but he's all on his lonesome. And the big problem here would be Barcode, but Barcode's attention is drawn over here towards middle. And the Farmer is finally going to end up falling here. spyleadeR taking some heavy damage for this one, though, so it should be a pretty easy closeout for Barcode to work for. 22 HP versus full HP sitting on him. And he tries to pop flash. Doesn't go his way at all. As he tries to pop out, there you go. Barcode shuts it down. spyleadeR's going to end up falling, and ORGLESS again come out on top with another round. Essentially off of the hands of the Farmer there. He finds 1, 2, 3 shots essentially out of nowhere to shut down everybody there from the offense that came out from E-Frag. And now we're going to see the decision from E-Frag here too. Like I said before, there's still quite a couple players that are in good spots to buy. And they're actually, yeah, I understated, or I overstated the drasticness of their economy a little bit there. They're still in a very good position to go up for another buy. So they'll go for it here again with a couple dropped AKs getting thrown to teammates there. Everybody with armor and everybody with utility for the most part here too. A little bit low on mollies, but that should, with the entry power we've seen from them past, that shouldn't hurt them too much. The problem here now is going to be stopping the members of ORGLESS that have come out in a big all-star way here now since this pause ended up coming out. Whatever ORGLESS talked about there during that pause, it really did a wonder. As now the Farmer's been doing great, everybody else is here too, the strategies and the communication seem to be a lot more aligned this time, and E-Frag, you can tell that they're feeling the heat a little bit more with this one. They're not, you know, they're not going gung-ho into these sites, and they're not looking for these entries here right from the get-go anymore. They're held back a little more. They're doing smoke setups, they're looking for these ways into these sites, and they're not sort of doing it haphazardly as we were before, where they just, you know, they do it, but they just do it very, very quickly in the fact that they're not looking out for any mistakes or anything. This time they're going to make sure it's perfect as they try and shut it down. But there's Dreamer opening it up here once again for the side of E-Frag by shutting down Ney. Viktor trying to work his way in too, but completely whiffing on that spray there onto the Farmer, so he's going to be able to drop through, trying to push his way inside of A-main to catch some of these guys, but that was odd. A little bit of OTV lag there, and we see 4 kills traded out, so that leaves it into 3 players left alive now for the members of E-Frag. Bubble and spyleadeR all very, very low as well. And then Barcode and Flash are the final 2 alive. And I think OTV just skipped like 30 or 40 seconds on me, because now we've got silhouettes of players sitting there too. And Bubble there picks up 1. Flash trades it out. Flash finds his second, but doesn't even realize. NKL! Oh no! Oh! He thinks he's clear, checks all the corners except for the corner of quad. And then KL is like, he doesn't see me. And then as he haphazardly has to go in for the defuse there, he takes him down. Didn't fully check the corner, and now E-Frag are sitting at 16 points. But they get aggressive this time as they're on the Seeker round. Dreamer finds a trade after the Farmer opens it up. And as well, NKL picking up a second one here too. So that's going to take down Ney. The rest of E-Frag getting ready to push into the A side. It's open for the taking, and Bubble's going to very quickly realize this. You can see their DeadFox trying to get in the way to stop this, but no dice in his regard. Way out in the open as he tries to go in to stop him. To get himself into a more forward spot on site to prevent that plan and give his teammates more time to rotate, but it's not going to be happening. And now it's just Flash and Barcode as the final two up and rolling into this one. Barcode moving in, looking for some Deagle shots, can't find it, and Dreamer shuts him down, and NKL still sitting up on top of boosted spot, also going to pick up the final kill. That's going to end it, guys. 16-8 is going to be the end of this one, and E-Frag will end up coming out on top this time around, so they'll 2-0 it, and they're going to be getting the points for today's matchup. And as for ORGLESS, again, those issues on the CT side will surface definitely in a big way on Inferno. That's, I think, should be one of the biggest takeaways for these guys, but nonetheless, good play by both teams. Our next matchup here, guys, is going to be coming up in just a little bit, so be sure to stick around for that one, as that's going to be Dignitas versus Flipside, as you can see from the schedule. Coming up in just about 1 hour, so be sure to hang out for that one right here on the StarLadder channel. And beyond that, guys, if you won't be sticking around, if you've enjoyed my solo casting, I know it's solo casting, so it can't be the greatest, but if you'd like to leave feedback or anything of that sort as well, you can go ahead and follow me over on Twitter, or send that to me on Twitter over at @BLUCSGO. I'll link it down in the chat as well, but that's completely up to you. We'll be back once again, guys, with that match in just about an hour, so stick around for that here at the StarLadder StarSeries Season 14, presented by iLeague.